Your laptop is not broken? Your phone is not slow? You were just told to believe that it is, and someone is making billions of dollars every single year counting on you to believe it. Right now, at this exact moment, there are approximately 50 million metric tons of electronic waste generated globally per year. 50 million metric tons. That's the weight of more than 4,000 Eiffel Towers thrown away every single year. And a massive chunk of that waste, it came from devices that still worked perfectly fine. I want to ask you something. When was the last time your laptop felt sluggish? When was the last time your phone started freezing up? Did you immediately think, okay, time to upgrade? I know I did. For years. But here's what no manufacturer wants you to know: that slowdown you experienced was not hardware failure. In most cases, it was a deliberate cocktail of software bloat, thermal mismanagement, and operating system overhead, and every single one of those issues is fixable. Today, for free, or for almost nothing. We're talking about machines that cost you anywhere from $800 to over $2,000 being discarded because of problems that can be solved with a $20 tube of thermal paste, a 15-minute kernel tweak, or a simple memory upgrade that manufacturers quietly left out of the stock configuration. If you have ever thrown away a device that still had years of life left in it, you were not making an informed decision. You were making the decision that a marketing department made for you. And today, that stops. Welcome to TechRenew Deep Dive. Now, before we get into the actual technical deep dive, let me be straight with you about who I am and why this channel exists. Because there are 100 channels out there doing tech tips, superficial stuff. Top 5 ways to speed up your PC? You've seen them. You've tried the tips. And 2 weeks later, nothing changed. That is not what we do here. My background is in systems engineering and hardware diagnostics. I've spent years tearing down consumer electronics, figuring out exactly why they degrade, what the manufacturers actually optimize for, and more importantly, what they deliberately did not optimize for, and the gap between those two things. That gap is where your money disappears. This channel exists because I got tired of watching people throw money at new hardware when the problem was almost never the hardware itself. It was the ecosystem built around the hardware, the software decisions, the thermal decisions, the firmware decisions that were designed with a 5-year replacement cycle in mind, not a 10-year one. On TechRenew Deep Dive, we go deeper than surface-level tutorials. We explain the actual engineering behind why things degrade, and then we give you the exact practical steps to reverse that degradation, not theories. Actionable processes you can do yourself. In today's video, we are going to dismantle one of the biggest myths in consumer tech, the idea that older hardware is obsolete hardware. We are going to explain exactly why that is false from a technical standpoint, and I'm going to give you a numbered, step-by-step process you can start applying to your own devices today. Let's get into it. Alright, let's talk about why your old hardware is actually not old in any meaningful technical sense. Man, to do that, we need to talk about 3 things: thermal throttling, operating system overhead, and storage bottlenecks. These 3 factors account for probably 80% of all perceived hardware obsolescence in consumer devices. Thermal throttling is when your processor deliberately slows itself down to prevent overheating. Every modern central processing unit and graphics processing unit has a built-in thermal protection system. When the chip temperature hits a certain threshold, usually somewhere between 85 and 100 degrees Celsius, the processor cuts its own clock speed, sometimes dramatically, to shed heat. Now here's the kicker. This is not a failure state. This is the processor doing exactly what it was designed to do. But the reason it's happening so aggressively in a 3-year-old laptop versus when it was brand new is almost entirely due to dried out thermal interface material. Thermal interface material, commonly called thermal paste, is the compound that sits between your processor die and the metal heat spreader or heatsink. When it's fresh, it fills in microscopic air gaps and conducts heat extremely efficiently. But thermal paste has a lifespan. Depending on the quality of the compound, it can begin to dry out and crack within 2 to 4 years of normal use. Once that happens, thermal resistance increases, meaning heat transfers from the chip to the heatsink less efficiently, and your processor starts throttling more aggressively and more frequently. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to cool a hot frying pan by pressing a wet sponge against it. That works great. Now imagine the sponge has dried out and cracked. Same contact area, dramatically worse heat transfer. That is exactly what is happening inside your laptop or desktop right now if you have never repasted. Here's a number that will make this real. A well-documented repasting of a 4-year-old ThinkPad. The ThinkPad is a line of professional laptops originally made by IBM and now by Lenovo, resulted in sustained processor performance improvements of over 30% under load. Not because the processor got faster, because it stopped being forced to throttle itself. That is not a software update. That is not a new chip. It is a 20-minute job in a tube of thermal paste. Now let's move to the operating system layer. This is where things get a little more technical, but I promise it will click quickly. Every operating system, Windows, macOS, Linux, runs a core process called the kernel. The kernel is the fundamental software layer that manages communication between your hardware and every application running on your system. As operating systems evolve, kernels get updated, features get added, background services get introduced, and all of that has a computational cost. Here's the problem. When a new operating system version ships, it is optimized for the average hardware of that moment, which skews heavily toward newer, more powerful machines. The power management profiles, the background service scheduling, the memory allocation algorithms, all of it is tuned for machines with fast solid-state drives, 16 plus gigabytes of RAM, and modern multi-core processors. If you are running that same operating system on a machine with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a slower drive, you are not running it on a machine it was designed for. You are running it on a machine that is being asked to do more than it was specs to do by the default configuration. On Windows, this manifests as services like Superfetch, also called CSMain, constantly preloading application data into RAM that you may never use, burning memory bandwidth and storage throughput in the background.
Yes.
On macOS, transparency and visual effects in the window compositor. That's the process that renders what you see on screen. Consumes significant graphics processing unit resources that could be used for actual work. The good news? Every single one of these settings is configurable. Windows has a built-in high-performance power plan that changes processor scheduling and reduces background service activity. Disabling Superfetch on systems with solid-state drives, which do not benefit from prefetching the way spinning hard drives do, can immediately reduce background storage activity by a measurable amount. On macOS, reducing motion and transparency and accessibility settings cuts compositor load significantly. None of this requires third-party software. None of this voids your warranty. All of it is built into the operating system. You just were never told about it because configuring your machine to run efficiently is not in the NT factor's financial interest. Third factor, storage. This one might be the most impactful of all. From roughly 2012 to 2018, the vast majority of consumer laptops, even mid-range and upper mid-range ones, shipped with spinning hard disk drives as their primary storage. Even some machines that cost over $1,000, hard disk drives have moving mechanical parts, a spinning magnetic platter and a read-write head that physically moves across it to access data. Access times are measured in milliseconds. Solid-state drives, by contrast, access data in microseconds. That is a difference of roughly 100 times. When people say their old laptop feels slow, in probably 60% of cases, what they are actually experiencing is storage bottleneck. The processor is waiting for data from the drive. The operating system is waiting for files to load. Applications are waiting for assets. And all of that wait time is measured by the human brain as general sluggishness. Replacing a spinning hard disk drive with a solid-state drive in a machine from 2015 or 2016 produces results that people routinely describe as transformative.
Oh.
Boot times that were 2 minutes become 15 seconds. Application launches that took 10 seconds happen in under 2. File operations that felt painful become instant. The processor did not change. The RAM did not change. The only thing that changed was the storage. And here's the real kicker. A quality 500 gigabyte solid-state drive costs between $40 and $60 in 2025. That is the cost of approximately 3 months of a typical streaming subscription. And it will make a 7-year-old machine feel genuinely fast again. All right, let's make this actionable. Here is your numbered process. Things you can start doing right now. Step 1. Diagnose your thermal situation. Download a free application called HWINFO. That's HWINFO on Windows. or iStat menus on Mac. Run a stress test using Prime 95, that's Prime 95 for 10 minutes, and monitor your processor temperatures. If you are seeing temperatures consistently above 90 degrees Celsius, thermal throttling is almost certainly degrading your performance. This is your first target. Step 2. Repaste your machine. This is the highest impact, lowest cost upgrade available to any machine over 3 years old. For laptops, search your exact model plus repaste guide on YouTube. There are tutorials for almost every machine in existence. Use a quality compound like thermal grizzly cryonaut, that's spelled Kryonut, or Arctic MX6. Apply a small piece-sized amount to the processor die, reassemble, and retest. Most people see immediate temperature drops of 10 to 20 degrees Celsius. Step 3. Audit and disable unnecessary background services. On Windows, open Task Manager and sort processes by CPU and memory usage when the machine is idle. Identify anything consuming over 2% of CPU at idle that is not a core system process. Research each one. The website shouldermovite.com is a useful reference, and disable startup entries for services you do not need. On Mac, go to System Settings, General Login Items, and remove anything you do not recognize or actively use. Step 4. Evaluate your storage. Open your Disk Management tool on Windows. It is built into Task Manager under the Performance tab, and look at your average disk response time during normal use. If you are regularly seeing response times above 20 milliseconds, you are experiencing storage bottleneck. Investigate whether your machine supports a solid-state drive upgrade. Most machines from 2012 onward do. Step 5. Tune your power plan. On Windows, go to Power Options in Control Panel and switch to High Performance mode. Then click Change Plan Settings, change Advanced Power Settings, and set your processor minimum state to at least 5% and maximum to 100%. Make sure you are not running a capped processor profile. On Mac, in Battery Settings, make sure Enable Power Nap is disabled when plugged in, and check that Prevent Automatic Sleeping is enabled when you need sustained performance. Step 6. Check your RAM configuration. Open Task Manager on Windows or Activity Monitor on Mac, and look at memory usage under normal workload. If you're consistently above 75% memory utilization during normal use, your machine is using page file. That means it is swapping data between RAM and your drive, because it ran out of physical memory. If your machine supports it, adding RAM is often the second highest impact upgrade after storage. So many machines that shipped with 8 GB can be upgraded to 16 or 32 GB for under $50. These 6 steps diagnose thermals, repaste audit services, evaluate storage, tune power plan, check RAM, represent the complete foundational framework for hardware life extension. Before you spend a single dollar on new hardware, run through this checklist. I guarantee that in the majority of cases, you will find at least 2 or 3 items on this list that apply to your machine. Let me leave you with this thought. The narrative that your hardware is obsolete is not a technical conclusion. It is a financial strategy. It is built into the way software is updated, the way operating systems are tuned, the way support windows are set. It is engineered obsolescence, and the only way to defeat it is with knowledge. The right to repair movement is growing. More states are passing legislation that gives you legal access to the parts and documentation to fix your own devices. But legal access is only half the battle. The other half is knowing what to actually do with that access, and that is exactly what this channel is going to give you, consistently in every video. So here's my question for you in the comments. What device do you have sitting in a drawer or closet right now that you gave up on? Drop the make and model below. I read every comment, and who knows, it might become the subject of our next full deep dive. If today's breakdown gave you something actionable, something you can apply to a device you already own, hit that subscribe button. Not because of the algorithm, not because of the numbers, but because this channel is building something specific. A community of people who refuse to be manipulated by the upgrade cycle. People who understand their hardware, who extend the life of their devices, and who make smarter decisions with their money. New videos drop every week. Next up, we are going deep on MacBook battery degradation specifically, why Apple's battery management system is both brilliant engineering and, depending on how you use it, a source of completely avoidable capacity loss. You will not want to miss it. I'm your host. This is TechRenew Deep Dive. Do not replace what you can repair. Do not upgrade what you can optimize. And never let a manufacturer decide when your hardware is done, because it is almost certainly not done yet. See you in the next one.